Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks with the coolest way to automate cybersecurity. We have Owen. It's not Ian. I screwed that up at first. I'm just saying. Totally gave me permission to screw it up, though, because he's a nice guy. Who's the CEO for Tines.io, which was it? That was this year, huh? Gartner's coolest new. Yeah.
Well
That
done.
So
Thank you.
congratulations.
It was very humbling to be quite honest. We weren't expecting it, and so when we got it, we were kind of like, oh, I don't really know what to do with this. But we kind of like, I don't know. Different people have different views of like Gartner and market analysts in general. Some people like take a lot of advice from it. Some people don't. But what it meant to us was just a signal that like we were on the right track. And when we looked at other companies that had won Cool Vendor awards over the last kind of like 5 years or so, it really is like incredibly validating for us that all these other companies that went on to do amazing things kind of started there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Good morning, everyone interested in learning how we can automate. Oh, okay, cool. Wait, I got to go back to the LinkedIn because I thought doing the different platform will was going to make it so we saw people's names. Not true. Not true. That button did not work. That's what happens though, right? Whenever you dive into something and you start mashing buttons and playing with stuff, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
At least the messages are getting through. That's the important part, right?
That is always the
important. The person could have like be called LinkedIn user. Like maybe that's their first name, Mr. User. Thank you for joining us. Oh, lots of people named LinkedIn user.
So, it's a real good idea. Have it legally changed.
Wow, this is a lot. Okay, so let's back it up just a little bit. All right. So, Owen, how did you get here? Like, where did you start? Where was the cybersecurity? Where do you know the cutoff was in your life in cybersecurity and plans to automate things and make things easier for teams? Like, where's ground zero for that? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been working in cybersecurity in some capacity for like the last kind of like almost 20 years at this stage. Started as a software engineer, got involved in running SecOps teams, incident response teams, threat hunting teams for companies like eBay and PayPal. I was senior director of cybersecurity for a company called DocuSign for a number of years before starting Tines. Never really had any grand ambitions to be an entrepreneur or be a startup founder. But while in DocuSign, we really, really felt the need for a platform like Tines. Like we were crying out for a tool. We had budget to spend on it, and we just couldn't find it. Looked at all the available tools on the market, looked at potential open source options, and kind of came up empty-handed. And I said, you know what? I think I need to go and build this product. And so 3 years ago, decided to leave industry, to enter the dark side of being a security vendor and try and essentially build this product that I wished had been available for my team when I ran SecOps teams and IR teams essentially in eBay, PayPal, and DocuSign. That was about 3 years ago now.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Fantastic. The pure hacker mindset in motion. I've got a problem. I've got to solve it.
That's true. And I think like that, a lot of like great companies start from people just wanting to scratch their own itch, right? Like they see this problem, they begrudgingly have to go and solve it themselves. But honestly, we've had so much fun these kind of last 3.5 years. We get to work with incredible security teams on a day-to-day basis. Feedback from our customers on the product is non-stop. And so we just get to improve and iterate on this product like every single day. It's a dream job, and I'm lucky to have it.
Well, that's kind of what makes the best product, right? Is that when you're scratching that itch because it's irritating you, you come up with the best solution.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think that's a surefire way to hit product market fit really quickly, right? If you know that like you were your own market, then you get to go and build your own product. I'm always in awe of like entrepreneurs and founders who like start a company to build a product where they haven't felt the pain themselves firsthand. Like I'm always amazed at people who can do that, like serial entrepreneurs who will just go find a problem and go and solve it without actually having felt it themselves. It's incredible to me. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it. And a lot of the decisions that we're still making on a day-to-day basis, both in terms of product and roadmap and so on, are still deeply rooted in our experiences of being practitioners, right? They're still kind of like, wow, I really wish we could have done this, or I wish we had that. And even though, personally, I'm out of the game of SecOps for the last kind of like 3.5 years from the front lines, it's amazing how much stuff hasn't changed. Like the basics are still the same, the core components are still the same, even though the minutia changes over time.
Well, absolutely.
Something I was really excited about your product, because I started, politely in a non-aggressive or creepy way stalking you guys about a year ago. I ran into you guys on Reddit. I'm just saying.
You could run into a lot worse stuff on Reddit, is all I'm saying.
I felt the same way, and usually do. If you guys aren't in some of the channels down in the Reddits, for subreddits for cybersecurity, InfoSec network, whatever. It's a great place to go and have your feelings hurt every day if you have questions. Okay. It's a great place for that. It's fantastic. So sometimes Rachel goes and I try to make people feel better about it. I'm like, I'm really sorry that person over there was a jerk to you.
Yeah.
But it's totally fine that you have questions. Okay. Ask more questions. Do not be afraid of asking questions. Here are some people that are ready and willing and able to answer your questions. Here's some resources for questions like that one. I try to be a bit more helpful, and then people even come behind me. And so on Reddit, if you've run across me, my Reddit was really old whenever I started to really try to be like this resource sharing thing for people and try to connect the dots for everybody. So I didn't change it from what it was. It was Mrs. Minionite, which was like, at first I was, one of my very first clients called me a cybersecurity minion, and they and I was like, perfect. That's going to be the thing. Now it's the human API. But anyway.
Yeah. But when did you take up the whole slant of being a Reddit recovery counselor?
I should really have some sort of there should be a support group for people.
Don't you need a license for that?
So many people they use platforms like that because they're like, oh, I really value my privacy and my anonymity. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. I'm glad that you do those things. Right. But then you don't understand that the other people also hide behind their privacy and anonymity. And then this ugly side of humanity comes out where people are angry, and they're in their daily lives. They're not demonstrating that anger because they don't want to be judged for it. So they go down into places like Reddit and kick the dog is basically what I call it. It's the kick the dog syndrome, right? Where they're like, I'm very mad at all of the stupid people around me, but I smile so nicely all day, but I'll go down into Reddit and tell everybody they're dumb.
But now you have a way to help automate those recovery messages.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
I can only do it. I have to set a timer because I've noticed something. If I hang out in Reddit threads for longer than 45 minutes or so, I start to feel really bad about myself. So I try to limit it to 30 minutes at a time. I'll dip my toe in and come back out. So if anybody's ever sent me a message on Reddit, I'm sorry if it took me a month to respond. It was probably because the last time I got kicked real hard and I was like, nah, I'm not going back for a while. It's a bad idea. So Owen, look, I did it again.
Don't worry about it. It happens all the time.
Anywho, so what I was really excited about introducing you over there and Will down there was Will kind of, did we get to explain what Will does? I don't think we did.
Oh, we could do that after.
So for everybody that's here that knows and is returning, Will has an IT center. It's his baby. It's his IT center of excellence at PIMA Community College. And it's basically an open, free to the public area for baby hackers to go and hack in a safe way. So they could go poke all the things and push all the buttons and get out of Starbucks and stop reading private packets. Quit it, you guys. You can go hang out with Will and do it in a much happier, padded wall kind of setting, but still play with some pretty cool high-end tech, because the partnership is through Tech Data, which is a huge supplier globally. Like, they're massive. They're the biggest company you never heard of, kind of thing. If you're in IT, you've definitely heard of them. SecureNation, we're partnered with them, kind of thing. But outside of IT, people are like, "What's that?" So it's kind of like if Walmart and Target had a baby and all they sold was software and hardware, it would be Tech Data. It's huge. Okay, they got everything. They probably do sell grills and have an outdoor section. I don't know.
Okay, that'll probably take a while to unwrap, but anyhow.
Yeah, they're massive. So anyway, Will has a community of students, right? Or student-minded people who are curious about trying things out in IT and everything. And then what I like so much about the Tynes platform is that, Owen, to your point before we went live, you were talking about how you had to be, can you touch on that for a second? Like with some of the older SOAR, or maybe that was Will. I think that might've been Chris. Chris said something about like legacy SOARs and stuff like that, how technically minded you have to be. So I'll let you say that.
Yeah, for sure. So I think first and foremost, this is probably the important thing I'll say all afternoon. And if you remember nothing else, like remember this: automation, and I don't just mean security automation, enterprise automation in any form is only effective, and I mean only effective, when it's implemented by teams on the front line. It has to be the people who are doing the work on a day-to-day basis who are empowered to implement the automation. Right? They're the only people who understand the edge cases. They're the only people who truly understand what needs to be done. The problem with the vast majority of automation platforms today is that you need to be a developer to build the automation. You don't necessarily need to be like an amazing developer, but you need to understand how to write scripts. And that isn't the kind of people who are on the front line. And so with Tynes, what we have tried to do is build a platform that allows those frontline analysts, incident responders, vuln management, threat hunters, give them the tools that they need to automate their processes end to end without having to rely on scripts that are hard to manage, difficult to scale, don't do HA, aren't maintainable, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've seen so much traction. So we have, when we look at our customers and you compare them to some of the other like SOAR vendors in the space, we have probably about 10x more production use cases than anybody else. So if you talk to like a company who's using a SOAR platform today that isn't Tynes, and you ask them how many production use cases they have, they'll say, well, we've got, vuln management, phishing response, and maybe EDR, something like that, right? With Tynes, it's 10x that. And the reason for that is because, again, it's the people on the front line who are empowered with those skills to do it.
Yeah, I really like that. There's a couple of pockets of amazing things that are happening, right? Like, Will, you're working on making this into like a student run kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I'm 100% there with you, because the automation that you are putting into place is at the core of all those systems. And that is non-trivial, sir. I mean, when you start, the one difficulty with automation is that it tends to build and feed upon itself. And the big dangers on large corporations is that they start to lose track of what they were doing. And so definitely that all needs to be pulled together at the front line. And now with, you heavily get into elements to where anything with an API you can hit, from what I've seen. We now are in that realm of not just on-prem data center, but hitting into the cloud and all those fine details. And as we were talking earlier, that opens up all sorts of new security areas where attacks can take place. Since that really has to happen with the folks in the trenches, how do you help keep them making good decisions along those lines as with your product and as that starts to develop in complexity?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So another of the unique things about Times is we just do workflow automation. That's it. So if you talk to a Gartner today or a Forrester or another marketing analyst and you ask them what's SOAR, they will say SOAR is case management, threat intelligence, analyst collaboration, and workflow automation, right? We just do workflow. And the reason for that is we fundamentally believe that the main challenges among security teams today are too much work, right? There's 79% of security teams are overwhelmed with the volume of alerts they receive, not enough staff. We've all seen the figures around how many unfilled security jobs there's going to be. And then the third challenge is inevitable incidents, right? That like no matter how quickly you're moving through your roadmap, it's never quickly enough. There's always something else. And so the answer, in my mind, to those problems isn't better case management. You already have Jira or ServiceNow or something. It's not analyst collaboration. You already have email or Slack or Microsoft Teams. And it's not threat feeds because you already have access to any number of proprietary or open source threat feeds. What you're missing is an ability for frontline staff to glue those various systems together in a robust, safe way, as you point out, Will. So because we're just focused on workflow and not worried about anything else, we get to spend an inordinate amount of time thinking about those exact things. Like what happens if an analyst includes a credential here? Or what happens if a credential expires? Or what happens if you make a request and the service is temporarily down? All those things feed into like the robustness of the platform. And again, because we're so focused on it, we get to like some pretty significant innovation around those challenges like robustness, safety, retries, credential management, scalability, that other platforms don't have the luxury to do because they're so dispersed.
And where do you, as this grows, because it's catching on like wildfire, where do you see that going, and what do you see some of your difficulties coming up on the horizon that you're working to solve?
Yeah, no, that's a good question as well. So we're fairly resolute on the fact that we're just going to be an extraordinarily powerful workflow engine, right? Because again, that's what we really care about. That's what we do great, and that's what we think the market needs. So that won't change. Instead, what we'll do is continue to make the platform easier to use. So at the heart of everything our great innovation in this company was the concept that any process, right, doesn't matter what it is, how complex it is, or the technology stack you're automating interaction with, can be broken down and automated using the 7 types of action, right? So it doesn't matter what you're doing, where it's hosted, or how complex it is, it's just these 7 things. And no matter what you're building then, it's just a different combination of these 7 things. And so what we have done is come up with this like set of primitives that anybody can use to automate anything. Today, those 7 primitives are pretty easy to use if you're like as technical as a security analyst, but they could be a lot easier to use. And so the vast majority of the work that we're going to be doing over the next kind of 10 years is going to be around improving the usability of those 7 things. The analogy we sometimes use is if you're a carpenter, you've got a hammer, a chisel, a drill, a saw, a pencil, and a penknife, right? Just saying those 7 things. I'm clearly not a carpenter. But the concept is that the way most automation platforms are working today is they're giving you a different hammer for a table as they are for a door, as they are for a roof, right? It's all these different tools. So what we've done is come up with a really powerful set of multi-purpose tools that you can use absolutely anywhere. And because it's only ever these 7 things, that's all you ever need. That's the sum of the knowledge that you will have to have. And so what we do when we're onboarding new customers is teach them how to use these 7 things, right? We don't teach them how to do phishing. We don't teach them how to do vulnerability management. We don't teach them how to do employee onboarding. We say, look, here's these 7 primitives. We're going to teach you how to use them start to finish. And once you have it, that's all you'll ever need. And then we just back away and let them go at it and build their table, hang a door, install a roof. It doesn't matter. And so what we'll be doing is refining those tools even more, improving the weight balance, improving the robustness, all that kind of fun stuff. And that's what we love to do. So it's kind of a match made to heaven.
And that's fantastic. That goes back to understanding the itch you're trying to scratch. Which is really
I think so. And I think if you talk about how other automation platforms have developed over time, they've all kind of started with that view, right? They've all tried to be a workflow engine, but then over time have chased market and bolted on additional components for whatever reason. I don't think that's necessary. Like I think that if you build a powerful enough workflow engine that can literally be used anywhere, there's a whole new category of software ripe for creation, right? And that is a platform that allows people be as effective as senior software engineers with a bunch of experience and a college degree without ever having to force them to like learn how to do library management, Git, all these other things that we take for granted as software engineers, and just give them the tools they need to automate their most, repetitive, laborious workflows.
You're muted, Rachel.
That's because my dog was barking. Simeon asked a couple questions here in the chat. How much of the user experience, user friendliness would you put to consideration? And then he asked another one a little farther down that was, what about automation vulnerabilities? And I'm really interested in some of his questions because I feel like he's going to bring more of a still student type intern level perspective to everything, which I think is really important to what it is that you guys are doing.
Yeah, great question. I'll do the user experience one first. So we're obsessive about it. Absolutely obsessive about user experience. If you look at our website, if you play with the platform, you can really tell that we put a lot of care and thought into this. And that matters for like a number of reasons. Like we've all used security products that like absolutely suck, that like are so bad. And so when we founded Tines, we really wanted to build a platform that people actually want to use. And that is depressingly rare in the enterprise, right? Like there's very few tools that people like get excited about logging into as like an analyst or an engineer. We have customers that like log in on a Saturday afternoon to like play with the platform. So it's not only important to us from a product perspective, but it's important as a business perspective as well. The tolerance that people have, this next generation have around poorly built software, both from a design perspective and an engineering perspective, is like decreasing really, really quickly. So like we obsess over like design, product, thoughtfulness, performance. The second question around automation vulnerabilities is really interesting question. And you can probably approach it from a few different ways. The way I think about it is, what new threats are you introducing into your process as a result of automating this, right? And compare that against the vulnerabilities inherent in the process when it's performed manually. And I think the things that like we think about potential vulnerabilities are like Tines is really fast and really powerful. So if you don't do something, if you don't build something with guardrails, there's a chance that you'll take down a target tool, right? You could use Tines as like a machine gun to send like 1 million events in a second. And that's one. So we build guardrails to prevent that kind of like repetitive loops and so on and so forth. And the other way that like we need your credentials in order to perform actions on your behalf, right? So like if part of your automation workflow is to go and onboard a new user in Okta, you're going to have to give us an Okta API key. And so we have to think a lot about how we manage credentials within the application. And we do things like, for example, we allow you to automate, or we allow you to store your credentials centralized, like in HashiCorp Vault or Secrets Manager or stuff like that. So you don't even have to store the credentials in Tines if you don't want to. Another vulnerability then is like, well, hang on a second, we're taking some pretty important data from your environment, right? For example, we're taking all your IDS alerts into Tines and enriching them. A lot of critical information in there. We don't charge by seats in Tines, so chances are you're going to have a bunch of people in the platform. And so we have to think about how we segregate that important data from users by having things like role-based access control, good team management, segregated and granular privacy controls like that.
Phew.
Hopefully that answered the question.
A lot. I hope so too.
Yeah.
There's going to be a delay, but I'm sure Simeon will ask more questions if he has.
Cool.
But I think it's also cool that you mentioned earlier that you're including education elements in there too, right?
Okay.
Because we all know from the security realm, the hardest part is the lazy IT, if you will, right? The stuff that just isn't being attended to, be it not enough people, be it not enough, whatever the reason, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the gotchas come in. And so that education to help people continually making smart decisions, i.e. staying with the basics, is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, look, Simeon did ask another question. Do you use Vault for automation update script? That was his.
Within our company ourselves. So yeah, within Tynes we use Vault. We also have a bunch of customers who use Vault to like manage their credentials centrally. We love it when customers do that, because again, it reduces the risk that we have as a company managing your credentials, which is again, and not a common thing that security people say, right? We don't want your data, we don't want your credentials. That's for as like, we treat it like kryptonite. We keep it for as a short amount of time as possible.
Yeah. That's down the list of like the first 10 questions that I end up asking vendors right off the bat is, where are you going to be storing my client's data? Where is it going? And then Owen's like, I don't really want it. Thank you.
And so we actually build features into the product that allow users control how long we'll store data within the platform. So we have no desire to be a system of record. Again, another kind of unusual thing to say as an enterprise software company, but we don't want to be a system of record for your data. Instead, we want to be the plumbing that brings all the data from these various systems, and you can keep Tynes in data for as short amount of time as possible.
Yeah. We got a couple people that say hello. Okay, there was Simeon's question. Everyone wants clean code.
Yeah, Paul had an interesting, complex one there too, that also, I don't think I quite got the gist of some of that, but bringing in the concepts of incident response and investigation management.
Oh yeah, this is a loaded question. So we have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the term SOAR, right? The way we look at it is SOAR as a category is a bunch of suboptimal products bolted on together to build a single pane of glass. And as one of the CISOs that one of our customers says, tell me about a single pane of glass and I'll tell you about a single glass of pain. They just do not work, right? They're really, really difficult products to build and manage. And so what we do at Tynes is we build this best-in-breed workflow automation tool and then make it really, really easy for you to connect to other tools in your stack that you've already invested in. The other analogy we use sometimes around case management, it's kind of like our SOAR with case management built in. It's kind of like those DVD VCR combos that you used to get like in the 90s, right? That like it was a crappy TV and a crappy VCR, but like it served a small purpose and did okay. But as soon as one of them broke, you had to throw both of them out, right? And so what you want when you're building a scalable security practice, you want the ability to take parts and replace them without disrupting your operations. And so that's one of our beliefs. It's probably not the wisest commercially to go down that route, but it's something we really care deeply about.
And I applaud that viewpoint, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're absolutely correct. You don't want to build security elements just for management, right?
Yeah, totally. And frankly, like there's companies who are way better at building dashboards and case management and task allocation than we are. But there's not very many who are better at building workflow than us. And so we stick to what we really do best. And again, I think the category is more than big enough, or the opportunity is more than big enough for us to build a big business by just doing what we do and love to do.
I applaud your focus. That is so much needed in this industry.
Yeah, well done, agreed. Agreed. Thank you.
So Owen, who named it Tynes?
That was me. Yeah, I take full responsibility for that. So I have a weird obsession over the names of like everyday items, like weird everyday items, like the plastic part at the end of your shoe was called like an anklet. Like I know that. Similarly, the prongs on a fork are called tines. And so when I was thinking about Tynes, the product, and one of the main part of our product is this like diagrammatic representation of your process, and it runs top down and has like a bunch of branches and forks and so on. So it kind of looked like an upturned fork, and that's where the name Tynes came from.
Gotcha. I wondered because I knew what a tine was, but I was like, maybe I'm missing it. No, good.
No. Surely it can't be named after that. Yes, it is.
And so you weren't just trying to stick it to your competition.
No. Okay. I am now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And did it come to you in a pub?
Most of my best ideas do, Will. I'm not going to lie to you. So like chances are it did.
For anybody that doesn't know, I know sometimes we get folks on, like Owen, that have some amazing products and technology out there in the world. But this is a totally non-sponsored kind of thing. Okay. I only ask on people that I'm actually interested in. That's kind of the whole premise behind the coffee table talks, because we've got quite a few people today. Geez, there's like 50 of y'all.
That was awesome.
There was. Everybody else dropped off at 11. Sorry, we go over if this is your first time. It happens. Be prepared. Buckle up. And I wanted to spend a few minutes talking to y'all about why I have a dragon, a huge stuffed dragon, and what you can't see. But what I'm going to tell you is an ILF hockey jersey that the Innocent Lives Foundation folks sent me a couple of weeks ago. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to wear it all day tomorrow. And the reason why I'm wearing it all day tomorrow is because tomorrow, July the 10th, is the Innocent Lives ILF Fest, which they did for the first time last year, attempting to raise money for the cause over there, which if you're not familiar, definitely look, I've got handy dandy captions to help me out. One, go follow them on Twitter. Okay. If they reach 10K followers or something, they're going to do like all these prizes. And one of them, I didn't tell Will yet. Sorry, Will. One of the fabulous prizes is there's a raffle for all of the ILF followers that you get a spot right here on the Coffee Talk. You like that? That's all I can offer. I don't have anything else, right? Like that's it. You want a sticker? I might have a sticker, but like anyway, so that'll be the thing. So if you're like an incoming professional, cybersecurity minded, you have something really cool that you just love to want to sit and hash out with Will and I, or just tell a bunch of people about it, go follow the ILF. And that's all you have to do. That's what you have to do. As soon as they hit 10K, that's going to unlock the raffle. There's a lot of other really cool stuff in there too. Like people way cooler than me and Will. Like Heath is, he does all kinds of like one-on-one instructional type stuff. He's amazing. If you don't follow Heath, go follow him. And then I think like Cytisis, if you don't, it's CyberSci is like giving away a lockpick set and something, I don't know, something darknet and scary. So go do that. Like super fun. Definitely follow them there to do ILF Fest stuff. It's going to be on Twitch. So if you guys are familiar with Twitch, I like Twitch. So that's going to be, and there's the website for that tomorrow as well. That's my new coffee cup that I got to go with. They sent me this. I'm so excited. This is the ILF, look, mission. Isn't that cool? So the roaster is customroasted.net. Super nice guy out of the middle of nowhere, Texas. Okay. And they're doing these batches and proceeds go to ILF. They called it Mission Fuel. Isn't that cute? I love it. I had to go buy a grinder though, because like I have K-cups. I'm that person. So definitely go check that out. We hope to see you all tomorrow. Hey, John Gates, what's up? I never look over there, so I feel bad for all the people I didn't say hi to a second ago. Go check them out tomorrow on Twitch for the ILF Fest. Owen, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll join every week if this is the outro I get.
Hey, I mean, you're just I really like just mad, crazy, genius scientist people, and you're that person, but like you're nice. You know what I mean? Like you're not the crazy
I can't ask for much more than that. I can't ask much more than that. Thank you. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Of course. And I'm so glad because for you right now, it's like 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock for you. Yeah. You're ready to go Taiwan on. I think you have a little one to go get too. So I'm not going to keep you if you got to go. But Will and I will stay on. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, folks. Bye.
Cheers,
I'm staying on. But yeah, Owen's going. Isn't he so nice? He's so nice. I love him so much. Yeah, and crazy stalker Rachel last year, I grabbed somebody else from over there, and they were down in Reddit talking about something and something technical, and I don't know, something pinged for me, and I was like, "You're a cybersecurity person. Let's be friends," right? Because that's how I operate mostly. I'm like, "Oh, you're talking about that? I would love to be talking about that too." And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually part of this little company in Ireland, and all kinds. Yeah, Thomas, thank you, Chris." So there's a very helpful gentleman in the background. His name is Chris, who helped put all this together with Owen. And he just reminded me that it was Thomas Kinsella, the other Tynes co-founder, who I ran across. And they weren't quite ready for my level of like hugs, I guess. I don't know how else to say it at the time. But they're ready now, buddy. I'm so excited. When I saw them hit Gartner, I was like, bam!
Well, yes! He was fun. This was a fun one and some really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It was. I think he's gonna help change the world, right? Like, I love those type of people. So if anybody wants to hang out with more of the Tynes people or get to know any of them, you can always direct message me, email me. All my contact information is on my LinkedIn page and everywhere else on the planet. I'm not that hard to find. Okay. Like, you have to be wearing a blindfold to not see where I am. I'm somewhere, everywhere. What? Twitch loves what? Oh, that's okay. We'll be fine. We'll get over that. Yeah, ILF Fest tomorrow, right? That's a thing. Got to do that. Oh, and then where'd my captions go? So at SecureNation, we have stood up in partnership with the good, awesome folks at Immersive Labs, stood up a CTF/Cybersecurity Skills Challenge. It's different than other CTFs that you guys have seen. There's no need for a team or anything like that. We called it CTF, so that way it was something familiar, because like, what's a Cybersecurity Skills Challenge? That's a big title or something. I was like, so basically it's a CTF, because you go through the modules and you get points awarded based on completion, and then at the end, whoever's got the most points, there's like first, second, third place prize, and top prize is like $500 or something gets donated to the ILF in your glorious name, and then you get like $250 for something too, right? So there's something for everybody in there. It's $10 for the entry fee. The $10 goes to ILF, and you get an opportunity to like go through a really amazing like continued education learning style platform for cybersecurity people. So it's got some modules that should be pretty easy to complete for all levels of skill set. So I was playing with it last night a bit, and I am not tech minded, you guys. And it was fun. Like, I had fun doing it. Like, I can't compete, but right, because it's my event. But anyway, go there, sign up, do things, do it, change the world, make yourself smart while you're doing it. I love it. It's
CTFs
a good.
Are always fun. Yes,
this one's fun. Well, I'm always so intimidated to do the other ones. Like, Trace Labs has one that's like all OSINT focused, and there's some others like DEF CON. They just announced what theirs was going to be, which is a partnership with another vendor. And I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared to join.
CTFs are always learning opportunities, right? So it's just a fun time to get in there. And what CTFs help you do is learn the next things that you need to learn, right?
Yes, it is. It should be that way. Thank you very much. So for all the mean people that are making people like me scared to join up, shame on you. I can Google stuff too,
Uh-huh.
You jerks.
That's how you learn, right?
It is. You go do stuff, right? You go try stuff and
like, come on in. The water's fine.
It's not deep at all. Blah, 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 blah. Right? You're not going to drown. Here's some floaties. That's kind of what Immersive Labs is. It's like the floaties, right? Here's the deep end, but here's also a life preserver, so you can kind of kick around a little bit first before you just let go. So it's going to be a good time, and good cause, awesome stuff. I love all of that. I like Roger's mission fuel. Thank you, John. CTFs are great fun. Thank you for anyone who is terrified of ever joining one. Just do it anyway. Try it out. I mean, if you're doing the ones that require teams, I think as long as you're honest about it, you're You're like, I'm not that great at this. This is my first time. I haven't run into too many people that are like, get out of here, scrub. But there are some, right? There are some people that are like, well, maybe we're not the right group for you. Right. And you're like, no, you're right. Thank you for telling me up front. You're a bunch of jerks. Next week, who are we having on next week? Will?
You're the one who makes the schedule.
Isn't it your turn? It's your turn.
I'm along for the ride.
You're doing great. You're doing great. As long as you keep on accepting, I'm really happy. Oh, wow. And look, they asked me yesterday too. They were like, when is our coffee talk? And I was like, next week. So it's Cyber Cytosis Eurydice. She's a volunteer.
Oh, she's fun.
Yeah. She's a volunteer for the Innocent Lives Foundation. She's done some DEF CON and Black Hat type style talks and presentations on building spiders and dark web crawlers and stuff. So like if you're into some serious darknet mysticism, like come on and hang out. It's going to be super fun. What is her day job now? She does something.
Also rocks the persona, so she's always fun.
It's awesome. She does this thing for ILF too, where it's like game night or something, and she'll play games on Twitch. She's one of those. She's cooler than me, or they're cooler than me, like just automatically, because I'm like, I can get on Twitch. I think I'm streaming to Twitch right now, but like, I'm not cool enough to play games on Twitch. My kids are so disappointed in me already, and they don't even know. So yeah, you gotta come hang out, see that next week. That's gonna be at 11 a.m. Central. So 9 a.m. for Will. You love me, don't you?
Oh, have a great time.
I had to do this one early because Ireland. Sorry. I'm sorry. It was like the end of Owen's day. Let's see, what else are we doing that's fun? Nope, that's it. Oh, I'm gonna be in Miami on August the 11th. In that area, actually, I think like the house we rented is somewhere between Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale. I don't know. If you're in that area, you want to come hang out and get a drink, come on to the house. Like, just let me know. I'll send you the address. We can do coffee in the morning and, cocktails after 5. So whatever you want to do, that's also fine. Chris Hadnaggy is going to be hanging out at that event. We're doing some education and awareness for a benefit. Are you ready? Are you ready for the title? Have I told anybody else the title besides Will? I don't know. Maybe I have. It is the ILF Bad Axe Benefit.
Clarify the axes.
We're going to be throwing axes. How is that not clear? We're throwing axes. We're throwing axes and talking about the ILF. Some of our sponsors for that are going to be Code 42 Social Engineer, which is Chris Hadnaggy's social engineering group, right? Social engineering. That was super easy. Chris Hadnaggy's other group that's not a nonprofit. Like they do stuff. They do stuff like services stuff for companies and it's like penetration testing, but social engineering engagement style, which is kind of cool and very neat. He's written a couple of books. You guys got to go check him out. And then, I like it. Vicky's like, I'm on Twitch. I'm like, I know. I see you. See, you can do, I think, Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and for the chat to appear. I think the other ones don't. Like, I have to go back and look at Twitter because it's through a separate company called Periscope. And then Facebook doesn't. I don't think Facebook works. I don't think anybody sees me on Facebook. I just put it there just in case, right? Because I hope somebody that might be interested in cybersecurity might be on Facebook and accidentally, I don't know. You guys, I have these big dreams and thoughts that happen that I hope come to fruition at some point. Yes, Paul says axe throwing is a blast. Yes, I'm so excited. So yeah, the folks at Code 42, which they focus on like insider threat type stuff and analytics and behavioral things. They're really cool. I'm really excited to hang out with them. Social engineer, EthoPass, which is this new up and coming situation in authentication platforms. It's browser based. To be able to crack this thing, you have to have a keylogger and I think we talked to them already, didn't we? You have to have a keylogger and a rootkit on the machine. I'm like, whoa, that's hard. And then there's a time thing involved too. Like it resets. So, like you can set how often it resets. And like, I don't know, it's a lot of words with crypto in it, like cryptex and cryptography and crypt. I don't know. There's lots of things. But it's
Quite
really
a few of
cool.
them are from the university down the street too, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah. And Immersive Labs, I'm pretty sure they're going to come hang out. I don't know. Nobody's put their stamp of approval on it yet. So if you're listening, Immersive Labs, get on it. We're going to Miami. And then in September, we're doing GerCon on the 16th and 17th. That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Very cool, like little hacker conference for the Midwest. It's really fun. It's their 10th year, so you guys should come hang out at that too. It'd be fun if you're in the area. Again, coffee, drinks, we do those things always, definitely. Well, that's all I got. Will, you got anything?
Nope.
Oh, good.
Stuff coming up though.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. It's gonna be busy. So you guys have a great weekend. Stop by the ILF Fest via Twitch tomorrow. I think it starts at like 10 a.m. Wait, I have that on my calendar. Somebody was nice and put an invite on my calendar. Yes, it's 10 a.m. Central until 5 p.m. Central. So it's an all-day thing. So you can like come in and come out. But go check it out. There's going to be some really cool special guests there. I know one of them is the lead singer for Clutch. Dave Kennedy is coming to hang out. Like all these people. You would have no idea. You're like, wow, all these people know about the Innocent Lives Foundation. That's cool. How come I didn't? Well, now you do. So go see. It's going to be fun. And We'll see you guys next week for Grab a Cup and Circle Up with Cytissus Eurydice and Darknet Mysticism. It's going to be fun. Bye, guys.